Hi guys, welcome back to the Wellness Club. My name is Cass. Thank you so much for listening. So I don't know if it's hit you yet, but we have 60 days until the new year. Well, actually 52 by the time this episode comes out. And I'm locking in. I don't know about you guys, but I am locking in for 2026. And if you haven't seen, which I'm sure you have seen, we're in the winter arc right now. I'm doing a little winter arc challenge. And even if you're not a part of the group, which you should have been because it's the best group ever, but I'm a little bit biased. But even if you're not a part of the group, you can do your own little winter arc challenge. Even if you didn't start October 1st or November 1st or wherever, you can start this whenever you want. The thing about the winter arc that I love so much is the winter arc is like a social media trend that's really just about locking in until the new year. So instead of waiting for the new year to come around, you lock in even with the holidays, even with the indulgence and the cookies and everything else that comes around this time. You use this time to fuel the future version of you. That's what really attracts me to the winter arc concept because it's all about starting right now. So even if it's not November 1st, because that's impossible, it's not, right? You can start this whenever. And it's really just adapting this mindset of I'm going to take care of myself until the new year. And then when the new year comes, now you're this new improved version of yourself that you don't have to like start the new year doing. You're already there. You're already weeks ahead of where you want to be. And what I love too about the winter arc challenge is you could do whatever you want. So unlike the 75 hard or those strict challenges where it's like the same habits for everyone, the winter arc is all about whatever you need to do and not just necessarily what you want to do, but what you need to do. And with my challenge girls, we have like set criteria, but it's very customized to the individual person. So some of the girls are on a 4-day strength training routine. Some of the girls are on a 2-day. Some people are at home. Some people are just working on their spirituality. Like it's very customized to you. And I encourage you, if you're doing your own version, to do that as well. Make sure you customize it to you, but be very real with yourself on what you actually need to do, because it's very easy to make it like a little easier on yourself. But this is all about pushing yourself. A physical transformation will naturally occur when you're doing a lot of fitness and nutrition stuff. But really what the winter arc is to me is a self-love journey and the highest form of self-love. Not just like taking care of yourself by putting on a face mask and calling it a day, but actually doing the things to prove to yourself that you treat yourself to the highest standard. I talked about this in last week's episode, but a lot of times we confuse self-love with just like the cosmetic things or the superficial things, but real self-love is treating yourself to the highest standard. There's this quote or this concept that I heard before, and I'm saying it a little bit different because I can't remember the exact words, but there's this quote about if you had to switch bodies with somebody that you love, would you be confident switching bodies with them? Would you feel like you're giving them the best body? And I'm totally like butchering. The person that said it originally said it so much better, but I'm not looking for it right now. But basically, like, would you be proud of where you're at? Would you be doing things that you need to do so that you'd be giving them a healthy, strong, stable body? And sometimes when we think about it for somebody else, it's a lot easier to look at ourselves and be like, wait, I'm not doing everything I need to be doing to taking care of myself. So I know I've been talking about the winter arc and locking in and everything for the last bit of the year, but I don't think I ever said exactly what I'm specifically doing. So I figured this would be a good episode to give you inspiration and also just show you exactly what I'm doing for my little lock-in winter arc series. And let me just preface this and say, I am feeling the best I've felt in a really long time doing these things. Like I just feel so alive and energized and enlightened and motivated and happy and excited. And I just feel literally the best I felt in a really long time. There's something about being aligned with what you need to do and actually doing it where you just kind of like glow and walk different and feel different. I just feel so good. Like I really just feel so good. But I'll also say that these things are what I'm specifically doing and use these as inspiration, but don't just copy and paste because you're a different person. You live a different lifestyle than me. You have different habits and priorities and everything different than me. So just use this as inspiration and not necessarily your exact protocol. Because like I said, my winter arc challenge girls, we're all very different and everybody's doing a different version of this. Not one program is the same. Everybody is different. So keep that in mind. So the first part of my little lock-in series is the movement part. I think movement sets the tone for everything else in your day. And I haven't always felt like this. Like I've said other things in the past of like sleep sets everything up. And I still agree with that. But having movement be a huge priority every single day for me has seriously changed my relationship with exercise. I don't want to make excuses, but having my ACL surgery last year really shifted my relationship with exercise because I wasn't able to do a lot of things. And then when I was starting to do them again, it was painful, like physically painful and just really hard. There was a lot of periods where I wasn't feeling inspired. I was feeling really beat down and hopeless and all those different things when you go through a recovery like that. And I don't want to make excuses about it because that was over a year ago, but that really did shift my relationship with exercise. Like right before that surgery, I was feeling really good. I was in a really solid routine. And then that just stopped everything and it changed my physical body. I lost a lot of muscle. I was working on rebuilding it. And so a big part of why I wanted to do a winter arc myself is because I wanted to heal this relationship I have with fitness. There was a period where I was comparing the past versions of myself with the current version of myself during my ACL recovery. So I was saying things to myself like, well, I'm not as strong as I used to be. I'm not as flexible as I used to be. My body's not the same as it used to be. And like that can be very debilitating or like disheartening because you get in your head about, well, I'm just so far behind now because I'm nowhere near where I used to be. And this can be applied for all kinds of situations like postpartum, menopause, even just growing older and puberty and other injuries. And there are periods of your life where your body will change and things will be different. And the natural thing is to like feel stuck because you're not where you used to be. And it's very easy to look at old pictures of yourself and be like, yeah, but I used to be so much further ahead. And that kind of like stops us and holds us back. But the first best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And the second best time is right now. And so I kind of had to get real with myself. Like I can't keep feeling sorry for myself that I'm not where I used to be. And at some point you just kind of get fed up with your own excuses. And that's exactly where I was. And don't get me wrong, like I want to give myself grace too and give myself credit. I was working really hard in the gym and doing what I needed to do recovery wise, but I just wasn't feeling the love for it. My relationship with fitness for a while in the last year was very transactional. Like this is just something that I have to do. Like I have to go strength train. I have to go to PT. I have to work out, but I didn't feel the passion or the love for it. And I really wanted to work on that through this winter arc. And I got to tell you already, the love for it and the spark of fitness has already come back. And I just feel excited about it again. Like it's been so fun falling back in love with this. But I have to tell you, there's strategy behind this because I'm being super, super realistic with myself. Here's exactly what I'm doing to lock in. I'm prioritizing movement every single day. And what I mean by that is movement has become the priority for me when I wake up in the morning. Now, does that mean that I'm working out 7 days a week? Absolutely not. But it does mean that when I wake up, I'm thinking about how much am I moving today? Especially on weekends or days where I know I'm going to be sitting or chilling and not moving as much. Those are days where I know I need to be extra intentional about moving. And part of that is getting my steps up. So my personal goal is 10,000 steps per day. Now, on days where I'm teaching dance, that's very attainable for me to hit personally. But on the weekends or on days where I might be handing out paperwork in class or like just not dancing and moving as much, that means that I have to be intentional and go for a walk. But just to put it into perspective, yesterday I was off, so I knew I had to go for an actual walk. And I walked 3 miles and I ended the day with over 16,000 steps. And I was just doing errands, housework, after my walk. But I have to set the precedent that I'm moving every single day. What I love about this is it's taken my focus away from so many things that I used to worry about. Like if you're a very anxious person, you got to give that anxiety and that energy to something productive. So for example, instead of worrying about my job or worrying about the housework or worrying about things that I need to get done or worrying about relationships or just worrying about anything that anxiety makes you worry about, now I'm focused on when am I moving? My exercise. That's my huge priority. That's my big focus every single day is what's my movement looking like today? And I am following a structured program. So we talked about my 10,000 steps, but I'm also doing 2 days a week of strength training. Now I made this a minimum of 2 days a week, doing an upper body and a lower body. And then I also gave myself a total body day. And the reason that I gave myself 2 to 3 days of strength training is because that's what's realistic for me right now. And I know on the other days, I want to do other things. Sometimes people get confused that they need to do 5-6 days a week of strength training. And especially if you've been deconditioned or out of it for a little bit, your body doesn't need all these stimuli to build muscle. You could do the bare minimum and build muscle. And honestly, that's a little bit more effective than just like straining your body too much. So for me, I gave myself 2 to 3 days of strength training, 2 being the minimum, 3 being like the if I have extra time, feel really good, whatever. And then I'm also doing 1 day a week of yoga and then 1 day a week of running a mile. And I've talked about this before, but I have become so obsessed with running a mile, not because I'm training for anything specific, not because I'm doing a 5K or anything like that. I don't see that in my future really at all. But I'm doing it to prove to myself that I can. When I was in high school, I did cross country for 1 year and I got last like literally every single time. I am not a strong runner by any means, which is exactly why I wanted to prove to myself that I can run a mile. And if you haven't run a mile in a while, I suggest you try it just to prove to yourself that you can do it. And the first time you do it, it is going to be so hard. It is going to be absolutely exhausting, horrible, terrible. But even just the second time you do it becomes significantly easier. Like really ask yourself, when's the last time you did a mile? And if it was in high school when they make you do a timed mile for your final grade or whatever, maybe think about just challenging yourself to go and do it. I've been doing it 5 weeks now and I am so obsessed with it. Like it's hard every single time. Don't get me wrong, but there's just something about doing something very hard that feels really good. And maybe yours is something else, but running I think is just a great way to like give yourself something hard to do that's challenging, but something rewarding at the end. So looking at my scope of workouts, at minimum, I'm working out 4 to 5 times per week. Now, on top of this, I do teach dance full time, so I am very active throughout the day. But part of this is being very intentional about my exercise. So I feel like getting activity in at work is definitely helpful, but it's not intentional. Like even if I don't feel like it, I have to go to work and I have to move my body because that's part of my job description. But telling myself like, I am going to the gym or I am going to run a mile or I am going to yoga, even on days where I don't necessarily want to, these are things that I'm proving to myself that I can do, if that makes sense. I just have to be honest here too. Maybe listening to this, if you're not in a workout routine right now, it might be like, wait, that's just so much. That sounds like a lot. But there's something that switches when you say to yourself, I'm doing this for a set period of time. Like for me, I'm like, I'm in this winter arc challenge for the next 8 weeks. I am dedicated and devoted to working on myself for these next 8 weeks. Making that commitment to yourself makes all of this 1,000 times easier. It's like exciting. It makes you, I don't know, something just switches in your brain where it's not like, oh, I have to work out. It's like, I have a purpose and a goal that I'm sticking to. Give yourself a goal. Give yourself 6 weeks, 8 weeks till January 1st. Give yourself a set amount of time to prove to yourself that you can stick to a plan, that you can stick to a program. I literally wake up excited about what I'm going to do. I just go to the park and I go walk, I go run. I do exercises at my house. I go to the gym. Like I just have found such a love and passion again for fitness. And I'm excited about it because I haven't always felt like this, especially after my knee surgery. Like it was something that I had to do for so long that now I feel like this is something I'm doing again for myself. And the girls in my group feel the same way because they say it like they're excited about their workouts. They're excited about going to the gym. They're excited about sticking to a program. The next part of my little lock-in winter arc challenge is personally, I'm tracking my foods. I recommend tracking foods to so many people to try at least one time. Unless you've tried it and you know it gives you a negative outcome or you're in a specific population of people that shouldn't track, it's really eye-opening to see what you're actually putting into your body. Because a lot of times we look at our foods and we think, oh, this is high in protein. Oh, this is high in carbs. But then you actually put it into the food scale and everything and you see, wait, this is not the ratio that I thought it was. The most accurate way to track is with a food scale, and that's what I'm doing. And I know that might sound like a little crazy or obsessive or just take too much time, but it's actually so much easier than it seems. And it really does open your eyes to the right amount of food, the right portions, the right ratio of carbs, fats, protein, etc. Of course, you can still have fun and you can still get takeout every now and then and indulge every now and then. But there were meals that I was eating on a consistent basis that I thought I knew the protein, carb, fat ratio. And then you put it into the food tracker and you see, wait, this is actually much higher in fats than I thought, or much higher in carbs than I thought, or much lower in protein than I thought. Even healthy foods with healthy ingredients can be off on your macros. That's what's really eye-opening about it. Like there was a meal that I was making consistently that I realized I needed to add so much more protein than I was adding. And I thought my ratio of like how much meat I was adding was the right amount. And then I put it on the food scale and I was much lower than I thought it was. And it's an easy swap because now I know, oh, I need to add more of this, a little bit less of this. And now I have a perfect balanced meal. And typically we eat the same foods on average or like the same variations. So once you see a week or so of what you're tracking, it's pretty easy to then go like, oh, okay, I know that this is a good balanced meal, or I know that I should probably add a little bit more of this to make it higher in protein or whatever the case is. If you've been training hard and you're eating right and you're still not seeing progress, but you've never tracked your meals, that could be the missing piece because it's the little swaps that actually make a huge difference and you start to see it on the food scale. I just use my food scale that I have at my house. I got it on Amazon. And then I put the foods into the challenge app that I'm using. And it's literally so easy. It takes maybe a minute or two extra. And then when I make meals, I save them as my favorites. So instead of weighing it every single time, now I know this is the portion, this is what I had, and I don't even have to weigh it out on the scale. The next thing that I'm doing as part of my lock-in is I'm doing 3 habits every single day. And this all comes up on my app as like my little habit tracker. So these are my daily habits that I want to work on throughout the next 8 weeks. The first one is the 10,000 steps. And I just have that on there as like a little reminder because even though I go for walks, sometimes if I'm not going for an intentional walk, but I hit my step count, I want to be able to check it off and see the days that I did it. Another habit, part of my lock-in, is taking my supplements every single day. And this one, I'm not going to lie, is still a struggle. We're 1 week in and I'm probably like 50% compliant, which is better than I was before because I was horrible at taking supplements, but I'm still not fully consistent. So I want to get so much better at this, but it is good for me to see like, oh, I took them yesterday. I should take them again today. Like I like being able to track that. And then the third habit that I'm focusing on is working on the wellness club every single day. And this is a personal goal of mine because I really want to just use the energy and time that I have to work on the wellness club and make it better and better and better. And this could be a 5-minute task. This could be a 30-minute block of working on it, an hour podcast, whatever, but working on the wellness club every single day. And this is probably my most consistent habit because I'm just obsessed with it. And now that we're doing the winter arc challenge, I'm even more obsessed with it. Like I have such a vision for it and I'm excited that it's starting to come to life and I'm excited for the future. And I don't know, I'm just excited about it. So this is probably my easiest habit to hit, but it's just a nice reminder that this is my main focus. I'm actually hosting a little farmer's market with all the girls that are in the challenge and working on that has been so much fun. Like I've been creating a bunch of things and making little beaded charms and like all these different things that are going to be at the farmer's market. And it's just so fun because it's made me realize like I love hosting, which is why I want to do more retreats in the future and I want to do pop-up events in my town. Like I just want to do more community stuff because that's really my passion. Like I love hosting and setting things up and making people feel special. And I don't know, I love it. So that's part of like what I've been working on every single day. And I just love it. I really do. And maybe part of your lock-in is working on that side hustle you've been saying you want to start, or working on the YouTube channel you've been saying you want to start, or posting on social media, or reading, or whatever. Like there are so many things that you could do, but use this time now. There can always be an excuse if you look hard enough, like the holiday season, the new year, the springtime, the summer. They're all busy and chaotic. And if you're looking for an excuse, you'll always find it. But if you commit right now and say like, I'm going to do this for me and I'm going to go on a journey with myself, you can't beat that. Like you're going to be so devoted and disciplined. And even if you fall off on days, like I have not hit every single goal every single day. I already told you guys, I'm like 50% on my supplements. It is what it is. I'm not beating myself up. I'm not giving up completely. I don't have an all or nothing mentality. I just keep it going. If I miss something one day, I just do better the next day. And I don't double it. I don't punish myself. I just do what I'm supposed to do for that day and I move on. That's the best part about this too, is like you have a set goal. And if you tell yourself I'm doing this till 2026, you know that there's an end in the future. You'll do something new in the future. But for now, like this is what you got to do. And you just try your best and do your best every single day. You don't have to complicate it so much. I think sometimes like social media just complicates health and wellness. It makes it like so crazy, but really just committing to yourself every day. Like I'm going to do things that are good for me today. And then you do your best with that. And sometimes you might do something that's not the best, but you just move on and keep it going. One of my favorite quotes ever by Dr. Will Cole is, "You can't heal a body that you hate." So take that for what it is. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Make some decisions today that your future self is going to thank you for. If you're not already, Make sure you're following me on TikTok at CassCamp with 2 P's and at the Wellness Club XO on Instagram. I've been posting again. Very, very good. I'm on a good streak with that. So go check out the reels that I've been spending all my time making. And I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.